Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Going to do what we do each and every day, taking a look at the same 10 to 12 futures markets, identifying potential turning points and breakout trades. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button down below. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So on the S&P yesterday, I kind of thought that, with our with some of the momentum that we had built up, we had a potential for a reversal at this purple area here. Let me get rid of the blue line. We had a potential for a reversal at the purple area, remembering that those purple areas are always going to be slightly lower probability. And if you take a look, when price did get down into that area, price gave us one touch out of the area, and then we kind of came out of it a little bit. We came back down into it and then popped all the way back up to kind of what would be our fair price value area, as the way it came into the level just didn't give us a whole lot of strength on the arrival. Price then came off of this high wick and broke through the area, tried to come back up, and we're just unable to hold that level. So good probability on this one for most of you that you probably got out either at a small loss or a break even. If you're moving your stops, depends on how active that you manage those positions, or maybe you just didn't take them. Right, the 15-minute level may not have been your cup of tea. Everyone's got their own risk tolerance and what they're willing to do. So now what am I looking at? Well, I do have a couple of potential areas as we're kind of in the move in a slightly downward trend now on the hourly chart. I've got lower swing lows and lower swing highs, and we broke out. We've got a little bit of a trend here. Broke below that area. Now I'm not willing to look at that yet until I look and see what the Nasdaq is doing, because what the Nasdaq is doing is going to be a big part of that. So take a look at the Nasdaq. Well, in the Nasdaq, we have made our way down to our potential long entry on the hourly chart. In the Nasdaq, we had a really strong sell-off yesterday in the FANG stocks, and so since we had that really strong sell-off, it was able to pull us down to the area that, frankly, I didn't think we'd make it to yesterday. Kind of felt like it'd be a little tough to get down to that area. And so what I'm going to do is put a little spot in up here. And I don't normally want to be too much of a seller at these all-time high regions, but that is a really nice looking area right there, especially since it was an area of support in the past. So let's see if we get much of a move off of here. I will tell you, if you're already long this thing, I'd be looking fairly quickly at moving my stop to break even, because we had this fair price value area just before the entrance. So if you did have an overnight position set and you did get in, I would definitely have a quick profit target in place on that one. Crude oil is another one where we just came into the level and were unable to get any sort of reversal off of this level that we added yesterday. It's still kind of being a little bit choppy. So it's still not a completely failed level, although we broke through the bottom of it. So for me, it's a failed level, right? So depending on your risk tolerance and your width, I know some people may have taken their level all the way down to this bottom wick right here, in which case you still may be in the thing. I do not have that in play. My level ended at this at basically this red candle. This one red candle right here was the width of my area, and it blew through for a small stop out. So once again, this is why I don't do exact results here on the daily market commentary, because everyone's going to have different results based on their risk tolerance, right, and how wide they make their zones, and then how they manage and adjust their stops. Gold. So gold, we got a really nice move off of our level. I tweeted yesterday that it was kind of just looking like a fairly weak move. Did wind up hitting what would be a decent target, which would be the opposing area here of this demand area. So this is this level, and then we've hit this area again. I'm going to remove it at this point. because we don't have a whole lot of strength built in it. If we get above here, this could serve as a bit of a double bottom. But I'm not sure it's going to get to that region or from that area. I've taken the level off, worked out for a nice small profit for those of you that were able to jump in on that one. Bond market. So in the bonds, another one where I just got hammered on the 15-minute level. Remember, these 15-minute levels always have a slightly lower degree of probability. It came into the level, blew right through that one, was unable to really hold. And then on our euro level that we identified yesterday, price came into this little region. We did break down out of it to the opposing fair price value area. So that one did move for a nice little 2-to-1 position on there before then the stop out occurs, coming back up. So this is one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of not just plain set it and forget it, because if you just do plain set it and forget it, when you set it up, your target may have been down here. And that one worked out pretty well for a nice little 2-to-1 move down into this region there. Now we've kind of come back up from that area, and looking at this on a bigger picture, just kind of seeing the 4-hour bigger picture, we're still inside of that one-day European, the ECB move that we had in one day. We're still inside that price movement, and we've come up to the top of it but been unable to pierce it. And I think that as we're inside of that price movement, it's still tougher sledding, if you will. And mind you, this is still a 4-hour chart that we're looking at, so it's more of what my friend Sam would call the Goliath chart. But I do like this for a potential breakout area if we do get back up above, because it was on old support there on the left, acted as resistance 3 or 4 times. And that would be our potential breakout long above that area. Looking at Canadian, so the Canadian dollar, our reversal was way down in here. Price has not come back into that level as of yet. We'll see if it comes into that level sometime in the next week or so. Other than that, we're still continuing that upward trend, and you could theoretically take a breakout long above all this noise right here, because you have that long upper wick. That long upper wick serves as potentially room to roam. When I look at that on even a 15-minute chart, it shows up as a breakout potential as well right here because of those upper wicks in there. And there's really not a whole lot of stuff inside of that 15-minute level, so there's room to roam. So if you were so inclined and wanted to take a breakout above some of those highs from the overnight, I wouldn't be mad at you. I think you may get a little play off of that. Last, certainly not least, Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, Nat Gas. So our Nat Gas breakout, we got a nice little move off of it. It has not really done a whole lot of follow through on it, so your stop should at least be down to break even. Maybe you took a little bit off the table already, but that one moved down for a really nice profit, and it's kind of come back to a potential entry point. So if you didn't catch it the first time, you got a decent shot at it again, acting as resistance. Great British Pound. What's funny is that we haven't seen the pound do a whole lot. There's still a lot of talk about how the Brexit is occurring, and we're still kind of holding off on any movement in that one. Nothing really has set itself up. Japanese Yen, we're getting close to this entry. I'm not a huge fan of it so far because, this is kind of building up. So just keep an eye on the arrival into this, and I'll keep an eye on the arrival into this as well, and may make some sort of a change or some sort of adjustment as we come into that area. So if you guys have any questions, please do me a favor, send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com. Whatever I can do to help, I certainly will. Appreciate the time today. I will see you all soon. Later.